Frack on. Welcome to the episode of Frack the Canon. This time we are joined by Michael Reyes. Mikey Reyes, what is up, Mikey? You want to introduce yourself a little bit?
Yeah, it's just I'd say undercover, kind of low key, nerdy guy. Met René, at the bar I was working at. He was having a conversation about some stuff. I butted in, and he just gave me the double René look, like, "How do you know what I'm talking about?" And I was like, "Dude, yeah." I was like, "I'm a low key nerd," so um, that was it. That's how we met, and I kind of, I like to, I like my video games and my comics and stuff like that. So yeah,
I didn't know I have a double key look. Okay, cool.
yeah, definitely.
I do.
You do
I
a
do.
you do a quick what? Like what? Yeah, cool. It's a signature move, dude. It's tight.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, and so we're joined by CJ. What's up, brother?
Yo, what is up?
And Tyler, good sir. How you doing?
Doing well. Happy to be here.
Thank you. I love that background. So thank you for having the background you have, because we're going to talk about that right now. We're going to talk about Mortal Kombat.
So glad you yelled it, bro. Like it had to be done.
It had to be
You
yelled.
didn't, like I was gonna do it right after you didn't do it.
Test your might.
It has begun. All right, so let's talk about this. So, Mikey, you're the newest member of the show. What did you
Yeah.
think about the new movie?
Man, this 24 years in the making, I think. The last one came out when my sister was born. And I was born 3 years before that. So it was like, man, I waited for that movie. The thing I loved about it though is, I was more into like the comics and the lore and the backstory of things. And this more or less the newest movie took from the video games, so I had a lot more of an understanding um, of like certain characters like Raiko and stuff like that, and all these other people that were there. Like Cabal, that's the Cabal from like from the video games. It's not like the Cabal from the comics or stuff like that. So it's kind of cool seeing that stuff because that's more or less what I grew up with.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I have wrong with it, man, I would say is the soundtrack, man. Those original soundtracks from the '90s, just I was a kid, man. I'd be doing like spinning wheel kicks in my room, lock the door and just blasting that thing on my little, boom box. And I thought I was Sub Zero and Scorpion and all that back then. I was a Cyrax man, Sector man. Those were my guys. So I was always
Okay.
the robot guys. So. But
Tyler, well,
overall, man, I really loved the story. Everything about it was, I couldn't have been better, honestly. I'm just kind of confused about the Cole guy, the new guy. I guess he's the new. I guess it's
so,
their take on the newest thing. So, but
so thank you for bringing that up, because I was confused too. I'm like, he has no counterpart in the games, but I guess that story was that kind of what threw me off. I'm like, this story of like, wait, what?
I thought he was Striker because he has similarities to Striker, like kind of the same
A
background.
little bit.
You know what I mean? So I was like, is this their new take on Striker? But I was like, Striker was so irrelevant in some of the games, So I was like, yeah, I was like, what the hell is going on? So, um, but then I kind of did a little bit of research and I was like, oh, it's just their little take on things. So kind of weird, but whatever. I liked it. It was a good movie, dude.
All right, cool. What did you think, Tyler?
So I did not have big expectations, because it's Mortal Kombat. You don't watch for the plot. It's not going to be Casablanca. But I love the fight scenes and everything, and going into it with like just like, hey, just have fun. I still had a good time, but then Cole really he got to me. Like his acting was so terrible. And the other thing too, other than him being a made up character, which I agree with you guys, like why even make up a character, um, was he in real life he was born in '87, so he's like our age, but then his daughter is like what, like 17. So it's like, how did that happen?
What did you think about the movie?
Um, yeah, like pretty much like Michael said earlier, and he's like, we've been waiting like 24 years for this movie. I feel like I have specifically been waiting 24 years for this movie to be made. Obviously everybody remembers that the last one like really sucked, and by the last one I mean Annihilation.
Annihilation.
One. But I just, what I mean, like as a kid, and I grew up playing a lot of fighting games. But as a kid, like I just really loved that movie. You know what I mean? Like I watched it a whole lot.
It has begun!
Nothing in this world can prepare you for Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat.
You know what I mean? Like they're like I can remember like when I remember moments, I like remember like the whole moment, like musical cues and everything. You know what I mean? Like even Christopher Lambert's little lamp. His little freaking Raiden laugh, you know what I mean? Like I like love all that. And so like when I saw the trailer for this movie, like I was like supremely hyped, like more hyped than anybody I know. I'm just like bugging everybody around me, like, dude, Mortal Kombat's coming out next week. Do you know? Mortal Kombat's coming out next week. You know? Anyways, freaking. But when I watched it, I was actually pleasantly surprised at like how cheesy it is. You know what I mean? Like because the trailer makes it look like it's gonna be hardcore. It's like the story from that you recognize, but like this time we're like taking it seriously. You know?
That dragon marking? It's an invitation.
Means you've been chosen. For what?
Mortal Kombat.
We don't have much time.
Well, if they want to fight, let's give them one.
Mortal Kombat.
Who's first?
Which is cool. I was totally on board for that. And like the whole first scene, the whole first like 7 minutes or whatever, you know what I mean? Like setup, it like sets this tone for like this really deep like dive into like these characters, and I'm like, oh, all right, dude, like this shit is sick, like I'm on board, you know what I mean? Then all of a sudden it like kind of takes a bit of a dip, but like I'm still on board like the whole way though, like I'm still loving it, you know what I mean? It's just like it's like the first and last scene was like made by like the A team, and then like usually the people who make like the stunts and stuff, you know what I mean, they're just like, you know what, take the rest of the movie, like we got the first scene, we got the last scene, but we'll just let you handle the rest of this, you know what I mean? Like because like the rest of it like kind of felt like something like I don't know, like almost like akin to like Power Rangers, almost like, you know what I mean, like they're in Outworld and it looks kind of like, you know what I mean, like I don't know if you guys got the sense that like when they're in Outworld and like Shang Tsung's like just talking to his minions, like felt like just like Rita Repulsa, like you know what I mean, kicking it and like talking to
Yes.
her goons or whatever, you know what I mean?
I must find a way to bring his shield down in order to obliterate our opposition.
Like I'm just like, okay, like all right, like I don't know, but I'm a Mortal Kombat fan. I like all those characters, and I like, you know, to what Mike said earlier, you know what I mean, like some of those some of those name drops you hear, like the Bo Rai Cho and like the you know, they drop these names and you know what they mean, you know what I mean, like, but so it's cool, like you know, it's better for fans, I think, than it would be for the general public, but it is still a very fun movie in general. You know what I mean? There are just a couple of things I didn't really like, and like you guys said, the Cole thing. That's my main thing. It's because it's like, why? Like, there's nothing to him that couldn't have been to another character that is already a character in Mortal Kombat. You know what I mean? And it's like the fan service is too rich in this movie for them to just give us this Cole character. Why? Like, why do we have this guy? Why is he here? I don't know. You know what I mean? But
I liked it too. Like I think at one point I'm like, because now that I realize it too, because I watched it twice, because like the fight scenes were amazing. Like my favorite moment is when Kung Lao killed that one bird chick. What's her name?
yeah, best freaking kill in the movie.
Yes,
Nikita.
I think so.
Yeah.
I sat that with my dad and my sister, my baby sister, and we're just watching. And my dad would just start laughing. He goes, "Yes." We go, I was like, "Yes." I'm like, at one point, I'm like, because I realized that there is no tournament in the story.
Yeah,
like, what is the story?
It's more or less the video game, like kind of the take on it, because you never actually fight in a tournament. It's always Shang Tsung trying to like weasel his way out of a tournament. He always has the best guys. It pisses me off. Is like he's always got like four-legged dudes, Minotauro. He has like all these people fighting for him, and he always is the one trying to weasel out of the fight. And it's like, dude, we get nothing. Like we got some chick who like had to kill Kano because she didn't even have a mark half the time. She's just like everybody's training. She's sitting there eating lunch. It's like, come on, dude.
And
Like,
that bugged me too. The whole mark thing. I'm like, why does it matter the mark thing? Go ahead.
Well,
TJ.
here's yeah, I'll just say like I mean because this is obviously this is something that they've created for this movie. You know what I mean? This isn't really something that's in the game, at least as far as I know of. Anyway, I'm not an encyclopedia on Mortal Kombat stuff. Talk to me about Spider-Man any day. But freaking, as far as I understand, this is a creation for the movie, which I didn't hate exactly. Right? This like you because it's similar to like I don't know Mortal like the meta of Mortal Kombat too, kind of, you know what I mean, like you kind of like you're kind of like fighting, vying to be the top kind of a thing, you know what I mean, like so the best fighter can win, like there are chosen ones but not really, you know what I mean, like which I think is cool, but it's also weird. It's also like this kind of weird, it's like if they meant it, like, you know what I mean, like they should have lent into it a little bit, you know what I mean, there's all these like really cool ideas being like sparse throughout this movie, and I think that's one of them. Like there's this kind of Highlander um there's this kind of like Highlander like aspect of this chosen one thing, you know what I mean, like because it's like, okay, so if you know about it, then like you can go and kill that dude and like become this, but also like, you know, it gives you power, but it also paints like a target on your back too, because like everybody can do that to you too. You know what I mean? Like it's like, I don't know. I think it's a really interesting idea that I really wished there were a lot of little things I wish they had explored more, and it just kind of felt like there was a lot of world building, you know, going on in this movie. So I really hope that like a part two gets greenlit because I want to see them explore all these ideas. You know what I mean? And I hope that they do in the future.
Mike, you look like you want to say something.
I mean, it was a lot. That's I thought it was gonna be a longer movie. It was only an hour and 50, and for that amount of, like you're saying, that the amount of detail, and there's like 6, you know, realms that they got to go through. So it's like for them for an hour and 50, I thought they would have got greenlit for at least 2.5 hours, which could have given them an opportunity, you know, to get a little bit more stuff out there. Like there's a lot of other really, really main characters like Shao Kahn. He's not in there. There's
It's in a
Shinoki's not in
painting.
there. Yeah, except for painting. There's also Quan Chi, who's a big guy. So it's like, you know, you're missing all those. Minotauro, he's not in there. I mean, I not that it was pressed or rushed, but I feel like it was just there's just a lot of work with, though. You know what I mean? You got to go. The thing that I really loved about it though is like a lot of the fatalities, and they even had an animality in there, and they even had a couple brutalities, like the way they were hitting people and stuff like that. That's like more or less the video game. I think that if you were to play the video games and kind of watch in, you'll be like, oh, okay, it makes a little bit more sense. But it's also like Hollywood execs, so you don't know, man. These guys they're looking for the money, and you know they're trying to, you know, make their money off the thing. But I'm kind of glad they kept the, you know, the video game aspect of things. And the video games do tell you a lot of information, playing them through, especially like Armageddon and Deception. Those ones are some of the most story filled, you know, games, and they were kind of free world, kind of like a Final Fantasy take on Mortal Kombat, which was really, really fun back in the days. Nowadays it's just kind of like the Injustice thing took over, where it's just like background stories. You got to fight with that one guy to do the background. There's 70 different backgrounds. It's like, oh my god, I don't have that much time. You know, like I don't have that much time to do all that. So I usually just YouTube and watch it and learn the backstories. So, but.
All right. So out of the Mortal Kombat franchise, who's your favorite character, and what is that character in this movie, and did you like how that character was treated? Mikey, we'll start with you.
My favorite, I loved Scorpion. Usually in the games, like in the Mortal Kombat universe, he kind of has a bad, you know, quality to him. Like he was like a bad guy. I like the fact that in this movie he's got, you know, he's the good. He's got that good in him. Because usually I think in the games he was taken and he was like a demon, and then they kind of, I can't remember exactly, but he didn't have the best connotation to him. But in these ones, I kind of like the story about him. Hands down though, man, Goro. You can't go wrong with Goro, dude. I don't like how they made him very human-esque though. Like he's like how he was like sitting there, you know, Cole's like punching him and beating the crap out of him. It's like, nah, dude, you're not doing that to Goro, dude. Like
He reminded me of Hulk. Like his face reminded me of Hulk in the MCU.
Dude, in the games, I don't know if you guys played like the original Mortal Kombat's back in the days. You could not beat Goro, dude. Like you would have to freaking spam that dude. Like he was so good. And then in I don't know if it was in Armageddon, but his version of like of that Goro was Blazed in one of the Mortal Kombat's. He was the final boss. I think it was in Armageddon, and Blaze was the same way, dude. You just have to spam in the corner and you keep doing the same thing. You keep shooting because you just cannot beat the guy, dude. It was so annoying. So Goro though, hands down, was my guy. I didn't like how they portrayed him as very human, but honestly, overall, man, like just I think Goro and Scorpion definitely were my guys. You can't go wrong with those guys, man.
Right. Tyler?
Just a take real quick on how he was talking about the spam. I love the reference to that in the movie, the scene where he kept spamming the low kick or whatever.
Yeah. That's that. I was telling my brother that too because he was like, "Dude, that's so annoying." I was like, "Remember I used to do that to you all the time." Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, that actually segues me perfectly into my favorite character in Mortal Kombat, Liu Kang. Because I'm a big Bruce Lee fan, and Liu Kang, he's one of the big homages to Bruce Lee, so I love playing with him just to be Bruce Lee. And I hated how they portrayed him in this, honestly. That was one of the weakest things in this movie, because, like, the 95 Mortal Kombat, Liu Kang is so played by Robin Shou, so good. And then this Liu Kang was like a silent monk type, and he seemed almost like a caricature of, like, what you'd expect, like a Shaolin monk martial artist guy to be. Whereas in the games, I felt like Liu Kang, especially in like 9, 10, and 11, totally had this big personality that had leadership qualities that and I'd say honestly that was one of the weakest things in the movie for me is like Kung Lao and Liu Kang they were like, they have a really interesting backstory, and they kind of just mentioned it, and it was like, you did all this work for like Scorpion and Sub-Zero, but not like the other characters. Like Sonya, it's just kind of like there's no reference of her being like special forces or whatever. So like that's what I think is missing from like the other half hour that should be in this movie too, is they did the lore building for a few characters, but not for what you'd expect. So that's my gripe about Liu Kang.
And to your point though, like what you just said, like even they did the lore building for like Scorpion and Sub-Zero, right? But like how much more were like the other characters that you mentioned in the movie than Scorpion and Sub-Zero were? Because like that's one thing I wanted to mention, like like what idea, like as far as the story is concerned, like why did we even need Scorpion in this movie? Obviously, like I feel like fans would have rioted if there was a Mortal Kombat movie and Scorpion wasn't in it. You know what I mean? But like it's like either like more or like not at all. You know what I mean? Like why is he even in there for like this one scene in the end scene? You know what I mean? Like I don't know. It was right, but
that really pissed me off too. I'm like, you got my favorite character is Sub-Zero. I'm like. And I'm like, I'm like, he's not fighting as much as I thought he was going to be fighting. Like, there was that one fight scene with the 3 fight scenes, but I wanted to fight more. And then Scorpion too. I'm like, so you're in here? Go ahead. Sorry.
It just goes back to everybody's problem. It's Cole. It goes back to Cole because it's like Cole Cole fits that spot where it's like this is who we should be rooting for killing the bad guy, right? Mm-hmm. But then like, at the end, like Scorpion comes in and it's Scorpion's fight with Sub-Zero, and we all know that, you know what I mean? But like Cole is supposed to be the main character, so we should want Cole to beat Sub-Zero, you know what I mean? Like as an audience, we should want Cole to beat Sub-Zero, you know what I mean? And that's why this is a problem, because it's like Cole is kind of the main character, but then now there's these other main characters that we like more, and like they're also kind of main characters, but then they're not, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, like the whole Liu Kang and Kung Lao thing, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, like they're like kind of supporting characters, but then like, why are you giving them then this much attention even, you know what I mean? Like, it's just weird. It's just weird, you know what I mean? I don't know, maybe the script could have used another pass, you know what I mean? I don't know.
I just wanted to say I wanted more fights. My favorite fatality was Kung Lao with that one chick. I don't know. What was your guys' favorite?
That.
Like,
Yeah,
I
that
like
one was mine too.
the little, the homage to the kind of like the animality with his dragon.
yeah, that was
Dragon.
dope.
That was cool. That I like too. My hands down favorite character is Nightwolf, and I like the little picture that Sonya had on it. And I was like, that got me excited. I was like, oh, they're gonna go find Nightwolf, and then, but the reptile that they did in that one, nah, not a fan of.
I'm
That.
hoping that that's just a reptile. I'm hoping
Okay,
it's just a
I hope
reptile.
that's not reptile, dude, because like
Right.
I don't know. I was like, oh, I don't know. That's the easy approach, to get him in there. So, but
I
In the last few games, I've been a Melina main. So I didn't know that Melina was gonna be in this movie, and then the trailer dropped, and so like once I saw that she was in the movie, the only thing I wanted was just a shot of her real teeth. That's the only thing I wanted, you know what I mean, that I needed before the movie was over. And I was afraid they weren't gonna give it to me, but I geeked out a whole lot when they fucking when she opened her
some
mouth wide
some
and
of the
shit.
characters that just kind of like with today's, with the technology of today, like that can just like Baraka, like that's an easy one. That's
yeah,
such a good one to put in nowadays. The cyborgs, Sector and Cyrex are the easy, like with today's, technology with everything going on. Like I'm surprised that they missed out on those guys. Like Cabal. I was like, come on, like you go with the masked characters, like when you have all this, I don't know how their budget was or anything, but there was a lot of characters that could have definitely came, that they could have used and been, fairly, well off characters and built into the story, especially with Shang Tsung. Like he's always got his, his clan of people. So
We could probably see that a lot of that in two. I'm fairly certain there's gonna be a number two,
yeah.
because this has been pretty successful so far. And I think the new model in the future is gonna be uh, um, release. Not even if theaters come back to speed how they used to be, we'll see like HBO Max uh, monthly releases, stuff like that in the future. And I think Warner Brothers loves Mortal Kombat as an IP, so we'll definitely. They gave us Annihilation. They need to make up for that still, so they'll give us another one. And one thing I just want to add, I always like see like what could like ultimately have improved this movie. Obviously, we established Cole needs to be swapped out for another character, but at the end of the movie, he's gonna go find Johnny Cage, so we know that they want to do a sequel. I think another thing they could have done to entice us for a sequel is like Shang Tsung sucked Kung Lao's soul out. It would have been really cool if he had, I forget what the undead like characters' names are in Mortal Kombat 10 and 11. But it would have been really cool because Shang Tsung had the line like, "Oh, but we can get them in death." If he had like a zombie Kung Lao or something, that would have been like a layup. But they didn't give it to us, so. But I look forward to seeing more into. I also wanted to see, you mentioned a bunch of characters. I want to see Katana, just because, like, I remember when I was a kid watching Mortal Kombat, like the most beautiful woman I've ever saw was like the Katana in like the '95 Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
Just saying. So that would have been. I'm looking forward to her and her dad in the sequel.
That'd be awesome. I wonder if the actress who played Melina would play Katana as well. Um, but that would be freaking awesome. But I think that we will. Should we get a sequel? I think that we will get a lot more of those other characters.
I think,
Because I'm looking at what freaking Ermac or something. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like freaking, and like I feel like they kind of laid up behind for Noob Saibot a little bit at the end there. You know what I mean? Like. And I'm hoping that what's his name's, because like I said, the Melina freaking main. I do hope that Shang Tsung's line about like freaking death is just another portal means that we're gonna get these characters back, like maybe even in zombie form or something. You know what I mean? Just to menace us again. You know what I mean? Like freaking sweet.
Mikey, you were gonna say something?
well, I think like jumping right off that point is like I think in the second one we're gonna see that Noob Saibot comes in, and then we'll see the good Sub-Zero, because I was always a fan of the good Sub-Zero, of the brother of Sub-Zero. I forget his name, but that's who I was a fan of, and I think we're definitely gonna see that in the sequel. And on top of that, I think we'll get Quan Chi, because I think he was the one who did the undead, or he trapped the souls. He had a Kung Lao in one of the games that was like under his power, and oh my god, that guy was, it was so ridiculous to even play that guy. Like he was horrible. Like I remember, I can't even remember how many broken controllers I had playing those games growing up, dude. Just horrible, man. Horrible.
Any final comments? Any final thoughts about Mortal Kombat?
Yeah, Kano was awesome. He made the movie twice as enjoyable for me.
Oh, the
Yeah,
show.
I gotta say, yeah, it was. I think in any movie, man, I think just having a crazy Australian, just bringing a crazy Australian in any movie will just make it better, man. So
I can't disagree with that statement at all. That's freaking weird. Freaking like I think my favorite line in the movie. It's like, I can't remember exactly how it goes. It's like they're about to go train, and Liu Kang's like stops, like, so yeah, he's just like, no, you can't come in here. You don't have the mark or whatever. And Keno's just in the background. He's just like, whoops. And I just freaking died laughing at that, dude. Like, it's just like freaking hilarious, dude.
And I enjoyed it. I had fun. Like, the story was there. The fight scenes were amazing. I'm like, this is what I wanted. I wanted to turn on my fatalities, animalities, fatalities. I got all that. I love the one-liners. My favorite one-liner is also from Kano, and it's
Kano wins.
I'm like,
dude, okay, just another gripe about freaking Cole. Like, could his power not have been like a little cooler? You know what I mean? Like a little freaking cooler. Like, what was that? What was that? He had a sweater. He had like a freaking.
I think that it was like, I don't know if Tyler, did you get kind of the impression of, like, I forget which Mortal Kombat it was, but because he had the butons, you know what I'm saying? The
batons,
so,
yeah.
Yeah, so it was and I forget what Mortal Kombat was, but Scorpion had that same as an alternate, that same thing. So I think it was a play on an alternate character of the video games, which was his armor.
I think it's 10 where you could get different weapons and stuff. And
and then his armor was kind of like I didn't like how, well, I mean, in the game it didn't do that, but like when you got hit, took a lot of damage, it would you had a multiplier that you can use, or like a breaker that you can use. I didn't like how they kind of bit off the Black Panther aspect of it, I definitely saw too close of similarities into that one, and I'm a Black Panther, man, that's my guy, and so I can't agree with that one on that one. That was cheap writing, easy writing right there. I think I feel on that one. So.
Oh, yeah. I wish they had at least just like, so a lot of the stuff a lot of these ideas, like I was saying before, I just wish they leaned into them a little bit heavier, gave us a little bit more info on them, you know what I mean? Like, because I do like a lot of that elements that they introduce, but I just wish they gave us like just one more layer of them, you know what I mean? Help me understand this world better, because it is kind of cool, this thing that you're setting up, you know what I mean? This kind of fantasy world, it is kind of a cool fantasy world, I think, you know what I mean? But like, just give me just a little bit more, you know what I mean? Let me appreciate it a little bit more, and it'd be, it could have went from like mediocre to like at least decent, you know what I mean? Like, as it stands, I feel like it's mediocre, but I had a hell of a lot of, I like it a lot more than I would like a mediocre movie, you know what I mean? Like, I just had a really good time with it,
All right, I enjoyed it. I thought it, like I said, just more fight scenes. Next, just to give me the plot, just give me a fight scene. Just start with them fighting. Let's go up the bracket. Make it like just give me a story. Just give me a movie.
Somebody's Twitch stream.
Exactly. Alrighty. Well, thank you for watching. Thank you for joining us, Mikey, Tyler, CJ, and myself. I don't thank you myself. We'll see you next time. Same freaking time, same freaking channel. Frack off.
Mortal Kombat!
Test your mic.